Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, East Coast businesses say they're struggling to find staff to keep up with demand this summer. Rentals are all but gone in some coastal towns. Tourism trade so strong, some are having their best January on record.
With views like these, it's no surprise Devil's Corner is a must-see stop on the Great Eastern Drive. After more than 10 years in business, last month was the busiest January they've experienced, despite being in a pandemic.
We're seeing enormous influx of Victorians coming back to Tasmania, and I was here the other day and the car park was full on a Monday.
The winery has undergone a multi-million-dollar redevelopment of its cellar door and is expecting more than 120,000 visitors this year alone.
Quintessentially a development that is the best of Tasmania, both in terms of location but also the vista behind me. It is fantastic that we're seeing the investment being made.
Business in nearby Bicheno is also buzzing once again.
We've been absolutely flat out. So basically Bicheno has been full since mid-December and we haven't stopped. So we don't look like we're going to be stopping for the next 2 months with forward bookings.
But it's not all rosy. Some are struggling to find people to fill positions.
We're running at the same capacity that we would have done 2.5 years ago, but we've got 2/3 of the staff, a lot left town, and that's being filled all through Bicheno.
It's a similar story at the Bicheno Penguin Tours.
It's been trying times. Keeping staff up's probably been one of our biggest issue, and overworking the staff that we've had. Accommodation for staff's really difficult to find if you're not a resident here. A lot of Airbnbs, and of course they're taken up with tourists staying there.
Nick Wardlaw says his business is operating at around 60% compared to a typical summer and is feeling the pinch with a lack of backpackers and international visitors.
We are looking forward to international tourists coming back through. That should hopefully get us back up to where we should be operating at this time of the year.
And the countdown's on, with the overseas welcome mat being rolled out in just 5 days' time. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
The number of COVID cases in Tasmania was up slightly today, with 625 new infections recorded. 13 people are currently in hospital with COVID. 2 patients are being treated in ICU. The Premier has again praised our vaccination rates, with 99.8% of people 16 years and over having now received their first dose. The Premier has been snubbed in negotiations over hosting the 2026 Commonwealth Games. Peter Gutwin says he only found out Victoria exclusively had the ear of Games officials through the media. He will ask for a please explain later this week.
I have always said that we should be aspirational, and I think we offer some great co-hosting options.
Meanwhile, former Hawks coach Alastair Clarkson will be in the state tomorrow to discuss the state's push for an AFL licence. Plans for a light rail corridor in Hobart's northern suburbs have been stopped in their tracks. The state government is instead moving ahead with plans for buses or trams, but the decision has been slammed as a missed opportunity.
For residents in Hobart's northern suburbs, the absence of a working train line is their missing link to the city.
You have to find the parking and stuff, so yeah, it's always good to have trains.
I think they're a great idea. It eases the congestion, and a lot of people, especially the kids, I think would like to use the train.
For those that don't have a car, I guess it would be.
A light rail was being considered under the 2019 city deal. Instead, the state government is moving ahead with plans for trackless trams or electric buses after an assessment report found rebuilding the rail corridor would prove too costly.
From a light rail option, that simply cannot go forward as the existing rail infrastructure is not suitable.
Independent MP Christy Johnston says the people of Clark don't buy it.
For a slightly more expensive option, when we're talking around the hundreds of millions of dollars that we're talking here, you get 4 times the benefit with rail than you would with buses.
The move has also been criticised by some developers, one telling 7 Tasmania News light rail would be the most sensible decision to create major infrastructure opportunities in the region.
You would see medium density housing going along the corridor. You would see business developments at key stations where the public transport option stopped. And you would see a lot of jobs too.
While any plans for a new train line have been derailed, the government says it will unveil its transport plans later this year. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
South Hobart's property market is the hottest in the state, with prices going up by $280,000 in a year. New data from realestate.com.au has revealed Sandy Bay and Newtown are not far behind. East Launceston and Bridport round out the top 5 spots, all recording median price growth of more than $200,000. East Launceston also recorded the highest rental increases, with tenants forking out an extra $100 a week. A peak body for ice sports has been created in Tasmania to help strengthen a campaign to save the state's only rink. There has been no government commitment to date. A new short film highlighting the plight of athletes who'll be left with nothing.
These young skaters have big dreams for a decorated career on the ice, just like their idols.
Combination jump, just the Lutz, the double load.
I really have dreams, hopes and everything. I'm really hope I can get to the Olympics someday. Winter Olympics is a big dream of mine.
The Olympics really shows that we can do it, but we need the facility and the support.
This humble operation in Glenorchy is ready to build the next generation of stars, but time is ticking as an offer is placed on their home.
The intention is most likely that it will be repurposed. So the rink is now at imminent risk for our athletes and our community as something that is very likely to not be available to us in the long-term future.
Ice Sports Tasmania, a newly formed group, are stepping up to lead the campaign, lobbying government and private investors to make a commitment to their 200 athletes.
Essentially what Ice Sports Tasmania are looking for is support to be able to construct a full ice rink facility. We also have a strategy around a temporary semi-permanent rink to buy us 5 to 8 years' time.
The premiere of a short film is sharing the insights of what the loss will mean for the tight-knit community.
It's that feeling you can't play it anymore, you know? You can't come here and skate around and see all the people that you've met, make new friends or anything.
This honestly just broke my heart, and it made me feel really, really passionate about bringing this story to the forefront and raising awareness.
If the closure goes ahead, Tasmania will be the only state in the country without an ice rink, meaning athletes and coaches will have to consider relocating for future opportunities.
And I just wouldn't be able to live my life as I do now because I go there a lot and I'll just be so sad.
A government spokesperson says Tasmania's Sport Minister met with the group to hear its concerns last week and will remain in contact as they explore a range of options. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmanian News.
The Tasmanian community is being encouraged to raise vital funds and awareness for homelessness by sleeping rough for a night. The inaugural event is being driven by Hobart City Mission and will take place at the Prince's Wharf Shed in May. For those with lived experience, it's a chance to highlight the importance of the issue.
Recently I've moved into DIY Dads, which is another program by Hobart City Mission for just dads and their kids that are homeless or at risk of being homeless.
There are a whole range of reasons why people end up in a situation of homelessness or approaching homelessness, and none of us are immune from that.
Local business Clarence is helping with the initiative, urging others across the state to dig deep for the important cause. From trash to treasure, a new sculpture on Hobart's eastern shore has been created from old household objects. The artwork, commissioned by Clarence City Council, also represents the municipality's post-war era.
And what I've tried to do is take small, humble things that were part of everyday life, and particularly here on the eastern shore, and memorialise them in a very robust and traditional material of bronze.
Former Tasmanian artist Donna Marcus took almost 9 months to finish the sculpture titled Mooring. Meanwhile, the Kangaroo Bay foreshore will come alive tonight for the annual Clarence Jazz Festival. Now in its 26th year, the event is promising the traditional fare with some surprise additions.
There will be music for nearly 12 hours and including a parade, New Orleans style parade. And that's free. Come down. Enjoy the day, there'll be food and wine and lots of music.
The COVID Safe program runs until Sunday. And speaking of music, popular dance duo Peking Duck has been announced as the headline act for the second instalment of Party in the Apocalypse. They'll be joined by more than 20 interstate and local artists when the two-day event makes its way to Hobart. The Jungle Giants, Vera Blue and Mole Rat are among other acts slated to perform. The festival is being held on the 25th and 26th of March and tickets go on sale tomorrow.
The Tasmanian State League has mimicked the AFL by introducing a bye before finals. The 21-round season will see the TSL's 7 teams face each other 3 times, with the bye round to be used as a buffer in case any catch-up games are needed because of COVID. Round 1 is on March 26 and a rivalry round is set for Good Friday, featuring the grand final rematch and Eastern Shore derby. Launceston will go for a three-peat of flags this year. A Tasmanian powerlifter will try to break a world record this year when she attempts to deadlift nearly 300 kilos. Hobart's Jess McCallum not only trains hard, she also needs to eat 3 times an Aussie's normal intake and juggle a full-time job. When you're inside the weights room, you don't mess with Jess. She already has a grip on the Australian deadlift record, but she wants the world record, which stands at a staggering 289 kilos for women, roughly 4 kegs of beer.
My very first thing I think I said was, one day I'm going to deadlift 300 kilo. I don't usually set goals, that's the first thing I said.
It would cap off an incredible transformation. Jess shed 140 kilos before turning to powerlifting 5 years ago.
You've just got to be committed and persistent.
She's called the she-beast, and for good reason. Even eating the 6,000 calories a day needed to maintain her muscle is enough of a challenge.
I struggle big time when I'm on a big calorie intake coming up to comp to actually eat that many.
Adding to it all, Jess has epilepsy, which can be dangerous when lifting such heavy weights, but it doesn't hold her back.
If you think you're not going well, just push through and look at the end, the light at the end of the tunnel.
An uplifting story which only needs a fairy tale world title to complete. She's going for the world record in Devonport in September.
Good evening everyone. 28 degrees in Hobart today, Launceston 21 and 19 in Burnie and Devonport. Grove, the state's top today of 29 degrees, Flinders Island 24, 22 in Strawn, Low Head and St Helens 20 and 16 in Lyowini. A large band of cloud can be seen extending from the mainland over most of Tasmania today. Across Australia, cumulus cloud is scattered across much of the north and east of the country, while an active middle-level cloud band over South Australia extends to waters to the east of Tasmania. Tomorrow, a cold front is crossing Tasmania in the morning and another is approaching from the southwest at night. Troughs lie over northern and eastern parts of the country. Southwest to northwesterly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, reaching 30 to 40 knots in the south, swells reaching 4 metres in the west and south. And there is a gale warning current for the southeast, southwest and central west coasts, and a strong wind warning for northern and eastern coastal waters, the southwest lakes, Banks Strait and Franklin Sound. Partly cloudy and 22 in Hobart tomorrow, Cygnet and New Norfolk both 23. Launceston mostly sunny and 25, Devonport 22, 24 in Campbelltown. 21 degrees in Burnie and Smithton tomorrow, showers and 19 in Strawn. And in the east, St Helens and Swansea both 25 and 23 and an early shower in Fingal. And the UV tomorrow is reaching very high 9s across the state with sunset expected at 8:15 p.m. Looking on to Friday, showers about western, southern and central areas. Fine and partly cloudy on Saturday with light winds. And on Sunday, showers about the west and far south, fine elsewhere. 37 in Perth tomorrow, possible showers and 24 in Melbourne, Sydney 31, Brisbane 29, Darwin and Cairns both 32 degrees and sunny and 38 in Alice Springs. And it's currently cloudy across the state with Hobart 23 degrees, Launceston 17 and 18 in Devonport, and that's Wednesday night's weather, Kim.
Hey, thanks Chelsea, see you tomorrow, and that is all we have time for tonight. Thanks for joining us this evening. We're back live to Beijing from 7:30, but for now, good night.